Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're well. Welcome to today's video lesson. Let's get straight into it. Can you please jot down our title, our date, and our learning objective? Today we are going to be reading a section of Act 2, Scene 1, so we can understand some new characters and their relationship. Pause the video and copy these 3 things down, please. Okay, let's complete our do now. Remember to answer these questions in full sentences. These 5 questions are all based on Act 1, Scene 2, which we read about the mechanicals and bottom. So pause the video and answer these questions in full sentences now, please. Okay. Time to make our purple pen corrections. So, a group of labourers gathered at Quince's house to discuss and rehearse a play. Quince has trouble controlling and organising the meeting because Bottom keeps interrupting him. The name of the play that they want to perform to Theseus and Hippolyta at their wedding is Pyramus and Thisbe. Bottom is shown to be selfish because he wants to play too many roles, and the labourers are worried that the lion will upset the women in the audience. Not the real lion, the character of the lion. Pause the video, make sure these are all correct. If not, make any purple pen corrections that you need to now, please. Okay. Before we start reading, as always, let's meet some new characters. So, today we are going to meet some fairies. There are fairies that live in the forest just outside of Athens, and they are a huge part of the text. The fairies that we're going to meet today are Oberon and Titania, and also this fairy here called Puck. We're going to learn a little bit about those in a minute. So, the main role of the fairies in the play A Midsummer Night's Dream is that they introduce magic into the story. Obviously, they're fairies, they are magical, mythical creatures. They have the ability to use magic. This magic causes some problems in the story, but it also helps to bring about a happy ending at the end of the text. So we know already that the text is going to end well, which is lovely. So, write 2 sentences to answer the questions below. I want you to make some predictions about the play. What problems do you think the fairies might cause? And what happy ending may the fairies help to create? Think about what you've read so far. Think about what you know has been a problem in the text so far. Think about how maybe that problem could be solved by the help of the fairies. There's no right or wrong answer here. I just want to hear your opinions. Pause the video, write an answer to these 2 questions in full sentences, please. Okay, if you're back, that means we can read the summary of the section that we are going to read today. Remember, we are only reading the beginning of Act 2, Scene 1. There is another section, but today we're just focusing on this here. So, we're in the forest and there are the 2 fairies. There's one who's a servant of Titania and the other is a servant of Oberon, and they meet in the forest. Oberon's servant is called Puck, and he tells Titania's servant to be sure to keep Titania out of Oberon's sight because they are very angry with each other. Titania and Oberon are so angry with each other because Titania has an Indian prince, and Titania wants to keep that prince as an attendant to help her, but Oberon thinks he would be better as a knight, so they are arguing. The 2 servant fairies are interrupted when Oberon enters from one side, and at the same moment Titania enters from the other side. And they both have their own train of fairies with them. At this point, there is an argument. Titania accuses Oberon of loving Hippolyta, and Oberon accuses Titania of loving Theseus. So Oberon and Titania are a couple, but they both think that the other is being unfaithful and cheating with someone else. They argue for a little bit, Titania storms away, and Oberon vows to take revenge on her for her disloyalty. before the end of the night. So, as always, we're going to read part of the text, and we're going to read the original version in black, and then we're going to read a translated version in red. So, we're going to read what Titania says to Oberon and what Oberon says to Titania during their argument to learn a little bit more about their relationship. So, let's read the original first. She says, "Then I must be thy lady, but I know when thou hast stolen away from fairyland, and in the shape of Corin sat all day, playing on pipes of corn and versing love to amorous Phillida. Why art thou here, come from the farthest step of India?" She says, "If you're my lord and husband, I must be your lady and wife, so you are supposed to be faithful to me." Then she continues to say, "But I know for a fact that you have snuck away, stolen away from fairyland disguised as a shepherd, shape of Corin, it's a shepherd, and spent all day playing straw pipes and singing love poems to your new girlfriend, versing love to amorous Phillida, his new girlfriend." Then she questions him. She says, "Why are you here? The only reason you left India was to come here and see that butch Amazon Hippolyta. But that forsooth the bouncing Amazon, your buskined mistress and your warrior love, to Theseus must be wedded, and you come to give their bed joy and prosperity." Then she carries on to basically insult Hippolyta, even though she doesn't know really much about her, but she just thinks that Oberon is with her. She says, "She was your boot-wearing mistress and your warrior lover, and now that she's getting married to Theseus, you've come to celebrate their marriage." So Titania is convinced that Oberon is here because he wants to see Hippolyta and that he's being unfaithful. What I would like you to do now is write a quote that's meant to say Titania. Apologies, I'll just fix that for you. Write a quote from Titania that summarizes her feelings and attitudes. You're not going to write a quote from the red side because that is not from the text, that is just a translation. You're going to pause the video and write a quote from the black side that summarizes her feelings and attitudes. Just one quote. Okay, if you're back, that means you have got a quote written down. Now let's learn a little bit about Oberon. So, Oberon says, "How canst thou thus for shame, Titania, knowing I know thy love to Theseus?" He begins instantly by questioning her, saying, "How can you stand there and talk about me and me being unfaithful when you know that I know that you love Theseus?" He continues by saying, "Glance at my credit with Hippolyta. Didst thou not lead him through the glimmering night from Perigona whom he ravished, and make him with fair eagles break his faith with Ariadne and Antiopa?" He says, "Weren't you the woman who made him desert Perigona in the middle of the night?" Obviously, this lady is maybe one of his old girlfriends. And then he continues to question her and says, "And weren't you the one who made him cheat on all of his other girlfriends, like Aegles, Ariadne, and Antiopa?" So now Oberon is accusing Titania of being unfaithful. And he's confused as to why she is criticizing him when she is just as bad. So now I would like you to do the same thing. Looking at the black text on this side of the screen, I would like you to write a quote from Oberon that summarizes his feelings and his attitudes. Pause the video and do that now, please. Okay, so you now should have your quote for Oberon and your quote from Titania written down. To finish off the lesson, I would like you to go to Show My Homework and complete the quiz titled English the 4th of February. That is your submission for today. You do not need to send me a picture of your notes. You just need to complete the quiz. Also, I thought I'd include this lovely illustration of Oberon, Puck, and Titania and all of her fairies. So enjoy that for a second, go to show my homework and complete the quiz. I will see you in tomorrow's lesson.